it's Trina, and this video is going to be my review of The Amateurs by Sara Shepard. This book was kindly sent to me by Freeform Books, and they are also sponsoring this review, but all of my thoughts and opinions are my own. I have been talking about Sara Shepard's books since I've had this channel, so if you guys aren't very familiar with her work, I refer to Sara Shepard as the queen of YA mystery, and you guys can check out my full series non-spoiler review of her Pretty Little Liars series here. I've also done a full series non-spoiler review of her Lying Game series, and a non-spoiler review of her Perfectionist duology. So when I found out that she was writing a new book, I already knew I wanted to read it. The Amateurs was actually one of my most anticipated releases for this fall. This book did come out on November 1st, so it is already available if you want to pick up a copy, but if you guys have already read this, or if you end up reading this and want to talk to me about it, I want to know if you guys are theorizing anything, or if you were as caught off guard by some things that happened as I was, but this video is going to be completely spoiler free. The Amateurs is the first book in a new trilogy by Sara Shepard, and this is another young adult mystery. However, some of the characters are college age, so I did feel like there was a more mature tone to this one than some of her previous series. This book is about a girl who went missing and then later turned up dead, and nobody knows what happened to her. The police could not figure it out. Her case has gone cold. The last person who saw her alive was her younger sister, and so 5 years after that disappearance, her younger sister has now turned to this website dedicated to crime solving, and she's asking for help and getting answers for what happened to her sister. And her post on that website attracts the attention of a boy in that same town who knew the girl that went missing, as well as two other strangers who are members of that website, and they love crime solving, so they travel to this town and start working with this sister and the acquaintance to try to dig up clues that maybe were overlooked the first time around. This is definitely an amateurs I guess that's why the book is called The Amateurs, but this is definitely a group of amateur sleuths. I felt like they were very capable in solving this crime, so I really enjoyed that. One thing that I really love about all of Sara Shepard's series, and was no exception in the case of The Amateurs, is that she does write characters with a very wide variety of backgrounds, and she does write diverse characters. As far as the diversity in this book, there are some side characters who are diverse in race and sexuality, but as for the four main point of views, Seneca is biracial. I believe she's half black and half white, and I think the other three point of views are white, or maybe they just weren't explicitly stated or I missed it. Another thing that I really liked about this book besides the characters was just the mystery. This mystery kept me gripped. I really wanted to know what happened. Like the idea that somebody went missing and then later turns up dead, and you don't know when they died within the years that they were just missing. That was really interesting to me. The way that information was revealed, it kept me on my toes, because I do really appreciate that in this book you would have like, oh well, we discovered a new information that could be helpful. Wow, that gives us a brand new suspect. And then they like immediately would go and question that suspect. They just got right into things, and the story progressed really well. I did feel like it was well paced. And this whole idea of this website where people have just come together because they have an interest in crime solving, I found that really cool. And the way in which it was introduced was giving me serious vibes of the podcast Serial, at least season 1, because it's just like these people who are completely uninvolved in the case, who are like, well, the police didn't question that person, and these phone records show this. So I definitely think if you like that podcast, you might be interested in that element to The Amateurs. And there was something different about the writing in The Amateurs than there was in like The Perfectionist, because I just finished the Perfectionist duology like last month, so it's pretty fresh on my mind. I don't know how to describe this very well, but I feel like the Lying Games, the Pretty Little Liars series, and the Perfectionist duology, I feel like those series had more of a younger side of YA feel to them, and I feel like some people are kind of turned off about that about Sara Shepard's series. But when I started The Amateurs, like the first chapter, I was like, this feels different. It felt a little bit darker, it felt more mature, and I felt like the characters' backgrounds and different flashbacks were woven in really well. Honestly, I just felt like this series had a lot of depth, not only to the plot, but also to the characters, and I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I have enjoyed her previous series, but this one just felt a little bit different. Like almost from the start, I was like, this one's different, and I think I like it a little bit better. Now, I also want to talk about the things that I didn't like so much about this book. So the first thing I didn't really love about this series were some of the relationships. I don't like romantic relationships especially in young adult books, where there's a power imbalance. We do have characters who are high school students that are involved with adult characters, or they are involved with a mentor, and so that to me was kind of skeevy. But the thing is that the book, for the most part, portrayed those things as kind of sketchy and kind of bad, so I don't think it was romanticized. It wasn't done in a way that I thought was problematic. I'm just saying that because of those things, I just wasn't really feeling them, you know, and maybe that's the point. And then the other thing I wasn't a fan of is that sometimes these high school characters would have to pose as having some type of job in order to get the information that they needed. So like they would pretend that they were interviewers with this big magazine in order to be able to question one of the suspects, or they would like steal the uniforms and pretend like they were from a cleaning crew or something. At some points I just thought like, really, these are really young looking characters, I think, because they're in high school. It's not to say it couldn't happen, but I think that I would have preferred if all these characters were a little bit older. And to be honest though, there's really not a lot of school aspect to it. In fact, there's more of an emphasis on the character who's in college and like her school experience than there is on any of the high school stuff. So in that respect, I kind of just wish all of them were college students, and I think that having older characters might make some of these things work a little bit better. I really enjoyed this book. I am so looking forward to continuing this series. The way things ended and the way things were revealed, I am like, oh my gosh, I have to know more. I would definitely recommend this one if you like young adult mysteries. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and like I said, if you guys have read it already, definitely let me know what you thought about it, and if you were caught off guard by anything or if you totally saw some things coming. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!